Hi, it's Kate Stillman with The Simple Detox, and I want to point our awareness into object consciousness versus space consciousness. And this can be something that seems a little kind of out there. This is, I'll put a link in this lesson to Eckhart Tolle's lecture on this. I'm not an original thinker, I would say, on most of this stuff. I just try to simplify it, make it really actionable for people in real time. Now, when you allow more space in your cells for the majority of people going into a detox today, there's just too much. There's too much on their mind, and there's too much in their body. Literally, like the cells are usually of higher quantity and poorer quality. That's just the effect of modern cultural habits with food and with lifestyle. So the aspect of turning awareness from like food, even, which is an object, into space, which is an experience of what is between objects, right? And that's what I tried to draw here in this image. The space between objects is a shift in your awareness, and the awareness has it's a very different experience. I'm going to just go over a few things that tend to change. So object consciousness, again, we're focused on matter, we're focused on material. It activates the thinking mind. You become aware of all the world of things. It tends to, it's interesting, this conditioned personality part is like whatever you ate yesterday, whatever your body's been doing lately, whatever those habits are, has a momentum to it. And so that tends to condition the personality. It conditions the ego into an identity. The ego is, in Ayurveda, it's the self sense. It's like, I know who I am. I'm a person who likes these foods. I'm a person who doesn't like these foods. I'm a person who likes to do these things. I'm a person who doesn't like to do those things. Those are all in the world of Eastern thought. Those are all optional, right? It's a way that the self has been conditioned over time. And unfortunately, if our personality has been conditioned into habits that are not serving our body or our mind or our potential, then it's really quite limiting in terms of what we'll experience. So the awareness goes more towards basically projecting into the future what's already happened in the past. There's more fear in general. There's more thoughts or more thinking. When you're in a detox phase, it's increase in space, and space is something that's not the easiest, I would say, to understand if you've been raised in more of a Westerner allopathic perspective. Space, you might think of outer space. Often people don't think so much of inner space. And if you just take a deep breath right now, and then take another. You may have noticed by the second breath, you're more aware of space in your body. You're more aware that the breath is coming in and inflating and creating space. And breathing practices are really great for space consciousness because you become much more aware of how your perspective changes. And really, space and object consciousness is a different perspective. And you get more in touch with the vibration that's within the space. And again, this concept I find of vibration is something that's really well understood in Eastern thought. Is not very well understood in Western thought, which is focused more on object consciousness, on the world of matter, what some people would say on reductionism, as opposed to more of a holistic perspective. So when you ease into detox, you're starting to let go of things. We're sipping hot water so that we're hydrated, so that we're eliminating. We're creating this hydrated, environment. With more fats, we create a more lubricated environment, which we'll get into in another lesson. You start to actually crave the silence. You start to feel the aliveness that's in the backdrop of every moment. If you start to do some of the breathing practices, you'll notice that you feel more spacious inside of yourself, that there's space between your thoughts. And when you experience space between your thoughts, the emotion of that is calm and present. And so instead of focusing on the thinking mind, you're enjoying the experience of presence. You're getting in touch with your essential nature or the essence of yourself, as opposed to the conditioned part of the personality. Your personality itself starts to feel like, wow, there's space, there's opportunity, there's more ways to be than the way I've been in the past. And you start to become more receptive rather than projecting. You start to become more receptive to what that might be. And we find this very much in the process of detox. You become awake to your desires of what you really want to become next. Again, that you haven't been before. So instead of being past focused, your presence into the future focused. You're aware of potentiality. You're aware of infinite possibility. You start to cultivate, and this is what to start to look for, is you start to cultivate a vibration that's more alive, a vibration of vitality. And that vibration of vitality is the definition of space consciousness. Again, in Eastern thought, there's words for this. Like in Ayurveda, we have the word akasha. Akasha is space that assumes the vibration of vitality. So the space is always available. When your cells are experiencing the amount of space, both within the cell and between the cells, what happens is an interconnected field arises. That's not possible when there's too much stuff in the way, when there's too much matter in the cells themselves, when the cell membranes are coated with AMA or with undigested food that's stored as toxin, when that stuff's floating between the cells, when there's basically just less efficiency in the whole physiology. You just get denied space. Those two things cannot coexist at the same time. So you miss out on this level of intelligence, this experience of presence, this experience of vitality or aliveness. You lose out on being fluid in your personality to align to your next potential. You actually, what's wild in this is, and this is well documented, is like you become less fearful, including fear of death. And this is, again, this is in the Yoga Sutras. It's part of the path of really awakening into the presence of every moment. So you become more risk tolerant in this, which to me is really fascinating. But you also become more present to being. And this will happen to you in the detox. You'll just notice, like, I just want to sit and hear the birds. I just want to sit and watch the sky. I just want to sit. Or I just want to lay down. Or I just want to take a walk. Or I want to sip some water. And there's a simplicity to attuning to space consciousness. And the more you do that, what happens is that starts to grow. That starts to grow within you. I have one more slide I want to get to in here. Solitude is a really nice amplifier for space consciousness. And often people find that they crave some time alone to reside in intuition, to reset to their own desires, to experience their own rhythm, to feel presence, to feel what it's like when life comes to you rather than needing to pursue what's next. I would say even in solitude, you can explore more what you're deeply hungry for in life. You can tune in, that intuitive capacity where like you're really aware of what now and what next. To thine own self be true, right? Just carving out some space. All right, that's my lesson on space consciousness. Is take a moment and enjoy the space that's in the room. Do a couple minutes of slower, deeper breathing so you can enjoy the space that you can cultivate in yourselves, and notice how the room has a vibration. Notice how the experience in your own body as you grow space consciousness, how that too has a vibration of vitality.